Hi, I am Hope Adams.
And I'm Dre Valentine.
We both have anxiety and panic attacks, but the purpose of this show is we're going to laugh about it because we're funny about it. Living with anxiety and panic attacks, it's a hard thing to have, but we like to find the humor in it. Hey, and welcome back. I am Hope Adams.
And I'm Dre Valentine.
And we are Panicked Punchline. So today we're going to hit a topic that is, I would say it's like a word or a title that's getting thrown around a lot lately, and it's narcissist. But we are going to talk about it because I've done some research on it. I'm very fascinated by this because I know I've had someone in my life that has had this disorder. And by the way, there is an actual disorder. It's called narcissistic personality disorder. People can get diagnosed with it. So we're gonna talk about that for a little bit because we both have had experiences with these kind of people in our lives. So we just want to be able to share those experiences and kind of give you some ideas and some signs of like, if you're experiencing these things in your life, is it possible that that is what this person has, or do we need to stay in this relationship or things like that? So first of all, there is something called narcissistic personality disorder. It is a medical disorder that people have. So some symptoms of it, and I'm just going to kind of read these things that I have, is that they have an unreasonably high sense of self-importance and require constant, excessive admiration. That is a huge one, right? So you hear that, and if you can think of someone like that right now in your life, let's just continue on and see if any of these other ones kind of hop on there. They feel that they deserve privileges and special treatment. Yeah, Dre has stories, but I'm going to keep going. They expect to be recognized as superior even without achievements. They make achievements and talents seem bigger than they actually are. They are preoccupied with fantasies about success, power, brilliance, beauty, or the perfect mate. They believe that they are superior to others and can only spend time with or be understood by equally special people. Let's see. They expect favors and expect other people to do things that they want without like you even questioning them. They take advantage of other people just to get what they want. That's a big one. That happens to a lot of people, but that's a huge one on this. They are usually a very jealous person. They're very envious and they're very insecure on top of that as well. And let's see. And then they behave in an arrogant way and they brag a lot and it comes across as conceited because they are. Right? So some of the things that that I guess narcissistic people have trouble with like handling, they're very impatient or they're angry when they don't receive the special attention that they feel like they deserve, right? They have a major problem interacting with others and they easily feel slighted. That's a huge one. When they're interacting with someone else and like if someone doesn't say the exact same thing or give them the compliment that they think they deserve after the joke, I know I'm trying not to look at your face while I'm trying to get these out, but like they feel slighted and it has nothing to do with they're angry, right? They react with rage or contempt and try to belittle other people to make themselves feel superior. And they have difficult managing their emotions and behaviors. And let's see. They feel depressed and moody because they fall short of perfection. Yes, I would say most of the narcissistic people I had that were depressed in some form. Mm-hmm. But here's my favorite one. They do all these things because they have secret feelings of insecurity, shame, humiliation, and fear of being exposed as a failure. Mm-hmm. So these are all symptoms and like kind of reactions of people that have this disorder. So I would imagine that a lot of people have experienced this, or if you're hearing this and you're like, oh my God, that's me. This may be why. What do you think about that, Miss Valentine?
I think it's really weird to hear whenever you like, okay, so you're like, do you think of a person, did someone pop in your head? Right. Obviously I've done a lot of research on this because of something that I went through. Mm-hmm. But whenever there's a lot of those traits that can be every single person in the world. Sure. Right. Mm-hmm. But when you have all of them, right, or most of them, right, like there's an issue.
Well, and the biggest thing too that it goes with the personality disorder of being a narcissist is that you have like no empathy.
Zero.
You have zero empathy for others.
And another thing that isn't on that list is that they will fake emotions.
Yep.
Like because they know what they're supposed to look like. Mm-hmm. And so then they will do that to get you.
And I'm gonna go with this because we had this discussion in one of my grad classes. Really brilliant professor who's one of the leading researchers on this, and she was explaining to me that like when a narcissist walks into a room, and it's like when they find their victim, and that's a horrible way of putting it, but when they do that, they like take a mental screenshot of that person in their head, and that is how that's the vision that they have of that person the whole time. So even if you change or adapt or something like that, like they know exactly what they want from you automatically, right? And the thing about narcissistic people is they can come off extremely charming.
Very.
They're gonna be extremely charming. They're gonna be ridiculously manipulative. They will lure you in with some type of trauma that's happened to them because they figured out that you are an empathist and that is a way of pulling you in. And it's one of those things that narcissists, they know they can pick out a victim very quickly. And I hate to say the word victim, but essentially like they can pick out their person because they can tell anyone can really tell somebody if you talk to them for a minute or so, if they're an empathist, if they're going to be like, they're actually going to care and invest in you. Right. And they're polar, like they're a lot of times it's just an attraction of that because they know that they can manipulate that person. And that is where a lot of the problems begin because when you meet this person, they're very charming, right? They seem like, I don't know, the life of the party, or they figure out what it is that you like, right? And they use that to their advantage. They're very manipulative. There's just things that they do that lures you in to the point where you start to ignore all the red flags. Would you agree with that?
And they trickle their red flags in.
It's not them.
Like they show them automatically. Most normal, I don't want to use the word normal because that's really rude, but like a normal relationship or a normal human being, like those red flags come up, whatever, month 3, right? That's what everybody says, right? Whatever
comes in,
yeah. They start coming up and they're pretty big, and you're like, fuck, hate that, Yeah. But they don't do that. They wait for like a year. Like they're perfect and perfect and perfect and perfect. But then little by little, they start to say things. They don't start to do actions yet. They say things that gets to you. And then, because anyone who's ever been through this, it is a mind game.
That's all it is.
And so they start to say things and then they start to make you believe these things little by little. And then they'll stick on one topic, whether it's, I'll give you an example. Like say it's cheating, right? Because they want you to let them cheat. Correct. Right?
Yeah.
Say that's their game.
Well, not only that, like they want, but they also want
they want you to be okay with it.
They want you to be okay with it, but it's also like your fault too.
Oh God.
It always comes back to your fault. We'll get to that, but go ahead.
But so say their first comment is like, everybody cheats, and you're like,
yeah.
You're like, no, they don't. And then they're like, okay, look at this guy, look at this guy. And this just seems like a normal conversation that you're having with whoever, right? Okay. And then a week later, everybody cheats. Or they bring up so-and-so cheated on his wife. And like, but they're still together. It's okay. La, 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 la. Like it's cheating. They're little trickles, trickle.
Okay.
And then to where they bring it up so much and they bring it to your attention so much, you're like, maybe everybody does cheat.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a mind game.
But they haven't done anything yet. There's no actions. They're molding you. They're molding you. They're putting this in there. So now you think everybody cheats. And then, but it's okay because,
everybody does it.
Everybody does it. It's accepted. I love you. I take care of you. I do this, blah, blah, blah. All these things are still perfect, but this. Okay, so trickle. So they trickle those things in. Whatever it is, whatever it may be. I don't know. I mean, that was one of mine, obviously. Yeah. But while they trickle those in, they also trickle in little bitty, whatever your insecurity is.
Yep.
They trickle on it. That in as well, slowly. And to where now you're getting like, by year 2, you're getting beat up with the worst words you've ever heard in your life, And they're cheating on you. But now you, for some reason, think
it's your fault.
It's my fault because of the things that your insecurities.
Yeah.
I won't say he. It could be a girl.
We could say whatever. hypothetically speaking, we're talking about that. Um, those are things too, and I will piggyback that with is that they will say things that or like that's not right. Like they'll be like, "Oh yeah, like I cheated with this person, this person, this person. Oh, I'm lying because I lie because I'm good at it." And these are like when you first meet these people too. Mine's a little bit different of a story too, just because of like friends that I've had or people that I've worked with. I haven't been in a relationship with a narcissist, so I don't have that part, but I do have working and like friend relationships. I have had that. And some of the red flags that I didn't catch on to at the very beginning was they're very boisterous about these things that they do. Like, oh, I'm a liar.
Oh,
I'm really good at
yes.
lying. Like, I lie because I
Yes.
can get away with it and I'm good at it. Or, oh God, yeah, I've cheated this many times with this many people and, I'm getting away with it. And like, you don't, I guess my thing was like, I was like, oh, it wasn't done in a jokingly way though. It wasn't like dead serious. Like, I'm this awful person. It was like, hey, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. And when you meet those people, you're like, oh, that's just who they are or whatever. Um, you I know in my experience, like, I was just like, "All right, well, that's just who they are. I don't really care." Right? But then they find ways because they need something from you usually. So
Yeah.
I'm talking more like I know yours is more relationship. Mine is more like friendship work. It's like they figure out what can I use them for? Right? Um, and what they do is they figure out where you're pretty vulnerable, right?
Mhm.
They can feel like you're a very caring person on this. This thing is very important in your life. These people are very important in your life, and they find a way to manipulate those things to get what they want from you, right? Um, and they do it in a way where you don't really see it happening. You don't
Mm-mm.
really understand because they've convinced you that they are really like the best person in the world. And you agree because they've done this and they're this person and they treat this person this way and like they love their dogs and whatever. They
Yeah.
find a way to give you an image of themselves
Which
that
that's all it is.
it's all it is an image, right? It's a facade. Um, and that's the thing about narcissists is that they are very good at painting a picture that you want to see.
Mhm.
And that's how they get you at the very beginning, right? So they find what you're vulnerable with, they find what your weaknesses are, and they latch onto them, right? But they don't do it in such a way that it's so obvious. You're like, what the hell? Like, absolutely not, right? They do, like what Dre said, like a trickling effect, and they see how far they can push it and get away with it before they go like full Monty on it or they hop onto something else. And the thing with that is, and that's what I was telling Dre earlier, um, narcissistic personality has been around for a little bit, but it hasn't been around forever. So there's not a ton of research on it. So for people that are getting out of or trying to get out of relationships with people that are narcissists, there's not a huge amount of therapists that are, I guess I wouldn't say qualified, but that are knowledgeable enough to deal with that type of manipulation that happens because it's totally different getting out of a narcissistic person, like a personality relationship, than it is like a domestic violence. Or if someone was just, cheating on you or infidelity, like narcissistic, it does so much to your psyche and to your mental and your emotional self. And I know that you've had experience with that as well. So,
Well, it wasn't even like the cheating. Like
right.
I used that as an example just so I could like give you like examples of like the trickle effect of like certain conversations
Right.
that could like easily be thrown into anything. I mean, you even have those conversations and yours wasn't a relationship.
Right.
It's like
Right.
people they're kind of braggy or whatever. But what they do is so say their ultimate goal is to be able to cheat on you but keep you, right?
Right. Okay.
They have to break you down into this like weird little shell of yourself to like only think exactly the way they think. So they take yourself, you're not yourself anymore, so that they can get what they want, whether it's money or sex or cheating or
Status, anything.
whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So say if it's like a very well known person's family money or whatever, like they want that. Anyways, they want a certain thing, but they have to break you of who you are. And they typically go for very strong people that are empaths, they do that because there's a ton of those. I had a very strong personality. You know that, like I didn't take shit from anybody.
Right.
but I had a heart that went out to anybody, you know, like,
yeah, I think we're both that way for
but
sure.
so, you know, they can sense that. And then I've also known like several other people that have been with the same person that I have. They were very strong women, very, you know, and then they became little fucking lapdogs, which so
Yeah.
was I. I'm
Mhm.
not downing them. I feel bad, you know, but like, so they have to take your strong part out.
Right.
Now they want you to think exactly how they think. They isolate you. That's a
Yep.
huge one.
That's
They
a
isolate
huge one.
you. They get you where you're not even with your family. They take you from your friends, everything, so that nobody can tell you that what they're doing to you.
Right.
You know? So like
1000%.
it's such a mind game. So when you get out of that, which this is what the topic is getting out of it, you have to find that person that you were before this.
Yeah.
Because I don't care. I mean, how many people have cheated on everybody in the world, right?
Right.
That's something you can get past.
Mhm.
You don't need to always go to therapy. It's not always like years that like that torments you. But this,
Mhm.
like where they make you feel like you're not even a human being,
Right.
will.
Absolutely.
I
Yes.
remember one statement. My friend Jen, did you know Jen? Well, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
Well,
Yes,
my
I know
friend
Jen.
Jen,
Yes.
she wouldn't talk to me when I was with them because she was like, she said, you're like, it's like you have Stockholm syndrome. And
Oh.
when she said that, I like, obviously that upset me or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And then, but after all of that was over, she's right.
Yeah.
Because I was like a prisoner,
Mhm.
you know, like, anyways, but getting over that, you definitely need to, it's getting,
How did you know? Like, when was your, like, enough is enough? Like, I can't do this anymore. Like, was there, like, a defining point, or did you just
um, yeah, I mean, like, my biggest thing was my age. Okay, so that was my weakness.
Okay.
Was I was always very insecure about my age. He was younger than me, so he had a leg up, right?
Mhm.
Um, and that's always going to be my thing is going to be my age, right?
Right.
I was pretty confident in every other aspect of my life, but that one got me,
Okay.
and he always made me feel like one day he said, "Do you think people think you're my mom when we go out?"
Oh my gosh.
I mean, the motherfucker was like 5 years younger than me. Like, calm down, you know, like calm down, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then he would say stuff like he'd point out every little wrinkle on my arm, face, leg, whatever, you know, like he'd point out wrinkles. He would point out like any flaw. That's why I'm like obsessed
Yeah.
with certain things
That makes
now, you
sense.
know.
Yeah.
Um, he my weight, he would like monitor it.
Mm.
Um, I had to be like, basically, he wanted me to be perfect, but so I would try to be perfect, and then that wasn't perfect. He would still constantly pick out something, you know?
Mhm.
And then one day he said, "You look like you're 60."
Mm.
So, anyways, so he hit my appearance, my age a lot, which made me turn into like a very, very insecure
Yeah.
person
Which
on
you were never before, like, ever.
no.
No.
And so then whenever he would cheat, I would think it's because I'm not good enough.
Mhm.
So he needs somebody younger and he needs somebody prettier and he needs it, and that's not me. But then he would stay with me, you know, and I was like, why is he with me? I was like, why
Mhm.
are you with me if like you think all of these horrible things, you know? And he was just like, because you're good. You're a good person. And oh, I'm sorry. And he said, I mean, you're so old, nobody else is gonna date you.
Mm.
You know, who else are you gonna get? Like
Fun.
stuff like that. So um whenever my last straw, I'm actually not gonna say on air because
That's fine.
awful. Um, but it was whenever I kept a lot of that a secret, you
Mhm.
know?
And they do that too, by the way, because they don't want you to, expose
them
whatsoever. So they figured out a way to convince you that you need to keep it a secret because it's your fault and your problem. And they're very manipulative in that way. That's my word with narcissists is manipulation.
Yeah, I wasn't like I didn't post anything. I didn't not that that's a big deal, but like I didn't post anything. I didn't talk to my family. I mean, I'd lost all my friends because they thought I was absolutely insane for being with someone that like said these things to me. Because I would open up, because I was so sad. I was sad all the time, and then they give you a little bit, to like keep you there. They're like, oh my God, you look so pretty today. And you're like, oh my God, like it's so dumb. So dumb. Like now that I look back and I'm like, oh my God, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
But he posted with another girl. So then that embarrassed me enough to stop it.
Oh, so that was why. So tell me, like,
so almost the embarrassment is what kind of almost shook me out of it a little bit, because I was like, he's gotten so far to where like he's made me accept that this is okay, that he does this, but now he's gonna go and show other people that he can do this to me. Yeah. I can't do that.
Right. So was it like, so what was the like initial breakup? Was it like, did you feel safe? Like,
no,
was it when
he would show up to my apartment, beat on my door? I blocked him. He would send me emails. He would, I mean, it was a lot for a while, and then and then it wasn't.
And then it wasn't. Yeah. But you did say, you told me earlier though that like it was so draining on you that like you did seek out therapy to help that.
I did.
And I'm not saying like you can go to therapy for it for sure. What I'm saying is like there's just not as many people that are just flat experts just in this field, but there are therapists that can help you with it. So obviously she saw one.
I went to therapy not for this actual situation, because it wasn't like I felt like once I opened my eyes to a lot of things, that part of it was okay. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Why did I let this happen? Why did I let this happen over and over and over? Like, what's my problem? Like, how do I not love myself enough?
Right.
That's what I went to therapy for. I went to therapy and said, I need you to help me be who I was before I ever met this person.
Right. Because that's what was lost.
Yes, that's it.
That's the whole game
plan. And even through like now I'm like, I don't regret being with him. We had a lot of fun. They're so like you said, they're amazing, charming, fun. They're all of those things. Yeah. I don't regret any of that. Yeah. I don't. I regret losing myself enough to let it get to where some of the things that happened to me happened. Like that's the only thing I take from this. After doing all my stuff and like getting myself back.
Yeah.
Like it is what it is.
But you also, and I think that's the big part, is like people that are in this relationship and maybe they're listening to that and are like, oh my God, that's happening to me. The biggest thing, like takeaway, is that for us is like, you need to find yourself again, because you were a different person. You were you before this, right?
And to be fair, the person that attracted them was that strong bitch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like,
it doesn't mean that you were weak.
The reason they start doing this is because, and I remember him saying this to me too, was you're fucking weak. You know how unattractive it is?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you made me this way. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And so I like, but with them, it's just, you never win. So you're getting too weak. You're too strong. You're too this, like it's a never ending.
And battle. In my situation, it was one of those things too. And it, and like when the cord was pulled, it was just like, I was like, this is how I feel about how you make me feel. And I know that like people can't make you feel a certain way, but like,
God, I hate that.
I get it.
Do.
I get it. But my thing is like, in this particular environment, this is how I feel and I don't like it. And then it was just like, well, then I'm done with you.
Yeah.
So you can't have feelings. Like you can't express your feelings because that's just a no.
I would not get talked to. If I said, if I cried,
right.
He didn't talk to me for days.
And that's the hard thing about it. And I think we did this episode one because I know that there's a lot of people that are in this situation or have had the situation and maybe didn't understand what happened to them, and are looking for a way to get back to themselves. And I think that's the huge thing. most people with this personality disorder are men, but there are a lot of women that are too. It's just been found, and like studies have been done mostly on men, but there are plenty of women.
Probably because women speak out.
Right. Well, but women, trust me when I tell you that there are women that are narcissists.
Oh, I have one too.
Yeah. Yes. We've all had women, and I've had men, like I said, that I have worked with that made me feel an awful.
If you read, so like there's sometimes like
if you read your list,
your list. I meant like your list, like some of those traits are me.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm nowhere near a narcissist.
But the difference is that you have empathy and that you care about how other people feel, and you care about how people are in a situation. And you have feelings, and you're not going to be manipulative to the point just to get what you want, to make yourself feel better.
There isn't me now.
Right.
Like when I was younger, I feel like I had a lot of confidence, and I did.
I feel like
we've talked about this. Like I used people for what I wanted, but I was upfront. Like, you know, like I wasn't trying to make them think I was going to be the love of their life.
Right.
You know, but
yeah, I mean, I definitely. But the difference is, I think that for you though was a phase. And that was just a learning curve for you there, because you're definitely not that person now.
No, I think that was me protecting the fact that I didn't want anyone to be crazy.
Right.
And so like I just protected like that whole bubble. That was my bubble. You weren't allowed in it.
I wouldn't say that was not narcissistic at all. I would just think that was a defense mechanism on your end. But anyways, so for those that are listening and that watch, I mean, just know that there are a lot of people that have gone through the same things. And if you're in that situation now, know that you aren't a weak person, right? Mm-hmm. You've just been manipulated in certain ways to feeling that way. And there are ways, obviously, to get out of that. And there's help out there for that as well. If you feel like this is you, you absolutely can go to therapy for that. And a fun fact about that is, like, most people that get diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder don't go in for that because they don't realize that's what they have, or they don't agree or admit that that's what they have, and they usually go in for anxiety or depression. And then through therapy, the therapist lets you know.
Being with these people gives you, like, I already had anxiety.
But even people that are narcissists, like, they don't, if they seek treatment, which is not often, right? Usually when they go, it's because they're forced, but they go in with saying, well, I must have anxiety or I must have depression. And it's through digging and whatever that the therapist can diagnose, or the psychologist can diagnose, is that this is really what you have. And there, again, like, I would say that there's probably not a cure for it either. But there are ways to understand who you are and figure it out, and show you what you're doing to people. And hopefully, you can grow a little bit of empathy. I don't know, but yeah, so that was a serious one this time, but I think it was a very important topic. So we're just going to end it on that. I'm Hope Adams.
I'm Dre Valentine.
And we are Panic for Punchline. We will see you soon.
I have to be.